10 dark secrets about Chumlee you didn't want to know. Before we start, I want you to hit that red subscriber button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. What's up? Welcome back to Filmtastic. The 20 grand damage. Chumlee indeed was one of the most lovable characters on the show, but he troubled the company every now and then. According to the Huffington Post, once Chumlee broke a very old and an expensive base that was worth over $20,000. Chumlee is somewhat naturally able to make the audience laugh, which also made him millions, even if he does serious damage while working at the pawn shop. What actually happened was that he leaned the base against the shelf and walked away, and the base fell and shattered into bits. He pawned it for $700, and the wounding up took away 20 grand. The fake death. Chumlee's death news was greatly exaggerated. In March of 2014, he was rumored to be dead online. Soon, Chumlee on Twitter announced that he was fine and reassured his friends, family, co-workers, and fans. He was 31 when the news of his death surfaced online. It's really shocking to know that you are presumed dead online while you are actually lying in bed or were at work. Anon Harrison. The Harrisons naturally turned to Chumlee when they needed to recruit a non-family cast member. Chumlee had ties with the Harrisons before it started and was the main source of their laughter. He was Corey's childhood friend, and today, regardless of the fact that he doesn't belong to the Harrisons, he is one of the most popular cast members on the show. About the Harrisons-Chumlee relationship within the walls of the shop, when spoken to Las Vegas Now, Chumlee said that he had been working behind the glass display cases for 5 years before the show even started, and that he never knew if he could ever make it to the cast. The sexual assault case. If you've seen the show, you know that Chumlee is out of this world. He truly is exceptional in his work, and people enjoy him. He, however, got into a bit of trouble when his house was raided by the Las Vegas police officers who had a warrant in relation to a sexual assault case against him. Surprising, isn't it? No one, not even Chumlee himself, would have seen this coming. But what goes around comes around. As much as we love him, we can't deny his guilt and subsequent punishment if he actually committed this disgusting crime. The possession of illegal items. While searching his home in Las Vegas, the police found meth, marijuana, and an unlicensed and unwarranted firearm. He was charged with a felony, but pleaded down to get the charges away. He was able to avoid a sentence in jail by the aid of probation and counseling. The news of Chumlee's arrest featured in the headlines, but no one brought it up on the show. He just kept working regardless. Do you ever wonder how influential people get away with this so easily? It's just a food for thought. Personal assistants. Chumlee has personal assistants who do most of his menial work. Whenever we see Chumlee doing something on the show, it's probably not in his skill set. He would just send his assistant to do it. This is kind of cool, being able to work, but not actually not working. Though it is good for the poor assistant who assists Chumlee tirelessly and makes the best effort to produce output that can't be distinguished when compared to Chumlee's easily. Worst purchase ever. Chumlee once, in an attempt to outsmart the seller, bought a fake mandolin for $1,500 that was initially pitched for $3,000. He thought that he'd sound smart after striking this fake bargain, but instead he ended up making a fool of himself. Yep, that's typical Chumlee for you. He sounded quite funny, muttering, "I hate mandolins," as he left the place of the instrument specialist who verified that the mandolin he brought in was in fact bogus. An entrepreneur. Chumlee owns a company that sells his own merchandise, and he gets a lot of business because he is the show's most popular character. As reported, he was the first of the cast to brand himself, that later was brought into by Rick Harrison, who could also then make a profit. This all surprisingly happened right on the floor and under the roof of the pawn shop. Well, he did not stop at merchandise, but he also brought in some flavor by selling candies too. He opened a candy store with his brother Sage. Samurai swords. A customer bought a set of samurai swords one day, and Chumlee was blown away by looking at them. He was so enamored that he spent $4,000 on the pair, which was a lot of money for a pair that didn't even verify as real. They always have some experts check, but Chumlee didn't do it this time. When Rick heard about this deal, without his consent, he wasn't very happy. Rick was surprised to not only know that it wasn't real, but they were also from a much-known maker and dated back to the 1400s, worth around $13,000. Rick was still mad at Chumlee as it was a pure case of luck, but the stars were still able to make a handsome $9,000 profit. Tupac's BMW. One day, Chumlee found a car which was originally owned by the 90s star, Tupac, which gave more value to anything he owned. The car which Chumlee found was the one in which the incident happened with Tupac, and the car was originally restored. It was said by the local appraiser that the car could go up to $1 million deal, which was a big bingo for the Harrisons. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen, because I'm sure you'll fall in love with them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.